Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're looking at a Demon Hunter build. This is going to be Unhallowed Essence Multishot. It is a bounty blaster. It is a key crusher. This is going to be the starting set for Season 23. And we're going to talk about some of the changes of 2.7 with the followers and how we can get a very fast, completely tons of resource build for both keys and bounties. Pretty tanky for the bounties. And as I say, it's a starting set, so we may as well take a look. Now, I probably would play Gates of Dreadlands. I do think that is better. I think it's better for bounties, keys, geospeed, the whole shebang. But as we say, it's a starting set and it's nice for a change. It's a classic build multi-shot, so let's go through it. It is obviously flexible UE. We don't have to do multi-shot, but it is one of my favorites, so that's what we're going to be covering. So the two-piece on the UE, our generators generate an additional 2 hatred and 1 discipline. That's quite nice. This means that we can get resource back whenever we fire out a generator. We have gone for entangling shots, just for the slow, really. I mean, you can use any generator. We've picked the fire rune just as is served, again, just to increase the hatred up to 7. It doesn't really matter. You've got pretty much any generator will do. For the 4-piece, we gain 60% damage reduction, completely meaningless for T16 because, as normal, we have Gold Wrap, we will have Boon of the Hoarder, and the follower will have the Avarice Band. We don't have it, but we'll have Pickup Radius. In the footage, we won't have the insane Pickup Radius of Avarice Band, but obviously on 2.7, the follower will have all these goodies and we'll be able to, you know, use that for us, which is nice. Now, if nothing is around us, so basically 10 yards, we get 60% increased damage for 8 seconds, and that damage reduction also lasts for that long. So this is here, this is your little indicator here. As you can see, it keeps refreshing. If we just stand near enemies and just stand on top of them for more than 8 seconds, it will disappear, so we lose the damage reduction, we lose the damage bonus. 6-piece, our generators, Multishot and Vengeance deal 350% increased damage for each point of discipline you have. Now, this is important. This is how much discipline is in this tub here, in your orb. So it's not your max discipline, it is your current discipline you have. You can get it on your weapon as a secondary, super important to pick up. You can get it on your secondary on your quiver, again, super important. You can also get it on your chest plates, again, worth the roll. Points in Paragon, obviously. We've got Preparation, Invigoration, permanently increasing our discipline by 20. This also acts as a discipline potion and will restore 30 instantly on a 45-second cooldown. So we want to basically make sure that we're getting as much discipline, and we want to keep it nice and high because that is obviously more damage. Now, for multi-shot, we're going to be taking a Yang's recurve. You know, you've probably seen this. Multi-shot attacks 50% faster, damage mod of up to 200%. We can get resource cost reduction on here of up to 50%. You know, I would like a better one, but you know, it is what it is. Cooldown is kind of important. So, you know, ideal rolls would be damage percent, cooldown, resource cost at 50. Main stat is fine. You don't need to worry about area damage for like T16 and bounties. We also take a Dead Man's Legacy. So multi-shot will hit enemies below 60% health twice. And again, it has another multiplier on it. So again, make sure you get that max discipline. Multi-shot damage is obviously handy. Crit chance is obviously beautiful. Main stat, obviously, you know, very nice early on as well. Now, we take Crimsons, and this really goes very well with UE because obviously the way the whole Crimsons work is we get cooldown and cooldown reduction. Sorry, cooldown and resource cost reduction on the 2-piece. On the 3-piece, every point in cooldown is more damage, every point in resource cost reduction is more toughness. Now, because we've got a Yang's, obviously we get huge resource cost reduction, so we get huge toughness. Again, not so important for T16, but very handy for bounties. Now, I personally probably would still leave the Crimsons on for T16. There is obviously specs that you can do. You could take your Gold Wrap, plonk it on the character, take the 6-piece UE, free up this jewelry slot, you know, maybe take something for resource cost reduction, to maybe take like a Syndicote possibly. You know, that is certainly something that we could do, but it is just kind of handy because it means that if you don't have your Gold Wrap bonus up, you're probably not going to die, and just having that resource cost reduction here the whole time is pretty easy. And at the end of the day, you're going to be using this for your bounty spec as well. In terms of rings, we're going to take a Zodiac, which is going to give us cooldown reduction. So whenever we hit with Multishot, we will take one of these skills and reduce them by 1 second. Cooldown obviously quite handy. We're going to take a Stone of Jordan just to give us a bit more max discipline. So again, it feeds back into more damage from Multishot. Fire obviously is the elements that we have on Arsenal, but it could easily be cold. Just as long as we match it with our amulet and our braces, we should be good to go. We get obviously huge elite damage, which is very nice. Again, you know, you pretty much melt trash with Multishot, so the extra elite damage is kind of handy. Now for braces, obviously the follower will be taking these in the season, but when we do this, I don't want the rift to be unduly slow, so we're going to leave them on. There's not a ton of great options for T16 because there's not much point taking Wraps of Clarity because they just give you damage reduction. Again, you could try and take Gold Wrap off. It does work quite well. You can do Leorix, but what I find is that you drop your squirts a bit more often doing that. You could go for Lacuni Prowlers. They just give you an extra stat. So if you've got yourself a nice pair of them. Early on, you can obviously craft yourself a pair of Reaper's Wraps. These would give you resource when you picked up a health globe. It only gives primary resource, so not overly useful. You can take the arm guards for a bit of move speed. To be honest, we move around the map with teleport with Vault, so again, possibly not terribly useful. And one of my subs, Good Eats, is a big fan of the Custarian wrist guards, and these will give us XP. Again, early on, probably quite important. You'll be picking up tons of gold with your key farming build, so you can get a bit more XP. Again, follower can take those, they emanate, but you know, it doesn't really matter too much. Braces is fairly open is what I'm getting at. We do have a squirts, so with the Boon of the Hoarder, with the Gizzard Gem, which provides a shield, you only need this at rank 25, you don't need 110, 25 is fine, you just need some form of shield so that your Gold Wrap bonus doesn't ever drop, and that should give you double damage the whole way, nice modifier. And we also have Echoing Fury in the cube. It gives move speed, but again, not great, or not overly useful to us because we use Vault so much, but we do get this increased attack speed, which is kind of nice because we can really spit out multi-shots and melt stuff. Last legendary gem is the Bane of the Powerful, and by all means you can toy with swapping this around, but I don't think we've got a worse slow other than this. We don't really want to be tagging everything with this to get the slow, so it just seems to make a bit of sense. I mean, you can try Zais, you could try Trapped. If you're struggling with the boss, you could use Stricken, but honestly, for T16, this should be fine. For stats, obviously, you generally want to pick up cooldown on your gloves and on your shoulders. You know, multi-shot damage on your helm, multi-shot damage on your shoes, or match the element on these three, should be fine. Zodiac will always roll with crit chance, cooldown, resource cost reduction, and attack speed. I'd roll off the attack speed personally for a socket. And I think that probably pretty much covers it. Let's just have a look at the skills, make sure we covered everything. Multi-shot Arsenal, this is the one with the rockets, so we pair that with ballistics passive. Yeah, completely free on here, but we have gone for entangling shot just as it's served. Companion back companion, this is kind of nice, 1 hatred per second. Multi-shot's thirsty, so it keeps this topped up. If we do run low, we can press the button and get more hatred. Prep and Vig we've covered. Vengeance, because we've got immortality with the Gold Wrap, we do go for Seethe, so whenever we've got Vengeance up, we get 40% increased damage and a bunch of hatred, so again, really handy for the resource. Now, obviously, if you run out of stuff to hit with Zodiac, because we're not taking Dawn, you know, we can get to the point where we don't have this up, but provided you've got stuff to hit, you should be fine. Vault Tumble, this is to get around. You know, the resource cost reduction means we've got pretty good discipline. You know, you don't really want to drain it anyway. And what this will do is the first one will cost normal amount of discipline, and then you get 50% RCR on the next one. Ambush, so we can try and flatten stuff above 75% health. Pairs really well with the Deadman's, because obviously that then starts hitting stuff at 60%. So you've only got that between 60 and 75% that isn't getting some form of extra damage. Blood Vengeance, keep our hatred high, so increase that max by 25. We also gain hatred and discipline when we pick up health globes, so if we do pick up any, so much the better, it is more resource. And then Perfectionist, just shaving off a bit of discipline on the Vault for us, just to make sure that we can move around the map super effectively. Now, by all means, as I say, you know, early on you won't have crimsons, so you know, gold wrap on the character, 6-piece, and then you've got this slot here free. Oh, and also follower will have Flavour of Time on the season, so any pylon you'll get doubled. But hopefully my follower guide is out by now, so you should be able to watch it. But let's jump in and let's take a look at how it plays, and hopefully we don't get the caves. Not too bad. So basically, just jump in, pop your abilities. You generally don't want to drop your squirts like that, but they're the 5 stacks of the Echoing Fury. As you can see, the squirts is now coming back because we've picked up some gold. So we're at 10 squirt stacks. Ooh, a blue goblin. Lucky us. Maybe we'll get a primal. But yeah, as you can see, provided we've got stuff to kill, the abilities come back fairly fast. A bit more cooldown would be handy, I guess, for me. Might as well pick up all this stuff, hey. Always get blue goblins when we want, hey. But yeah, so we've got prep. I probably wouldn't unlock it. You could if you wanted, but you probably don't really want to press it unless you get low on discipline, and that will force more Zodiac procs into your vengeance. And then if, let's say, we did end up in a bit of bother with resource, we can just simply press W and we get companion. But honestly, it's a pretty easy time of it on Multishot. As you can see, the resource has barely moved. Even if, let's say, we want to cover a load of distance, you know, we can just hold down teleport, and we can pretty much clear an entire map. And then at the end of it, just prep, and it'll get your discipline back. So, you know, easy peasy. A fairly nice time, but I guess we'll spawn the boss just to show you that's nice and quick too. And for main stat, 12.7k is as low as it can get. We've obviously taken out the dex gems. I've taken out the main stat paragon, but the suit is orged because I did spend the season playing Multishot, and it's loads of fun. But yeah, follower would normally be taking the NEMs, as we said at the start of the video. You know, gold wrap. For things like that, I would take, because it just means you can stand in explosions. You don't really care. More goblins. One of these days, guys, we're going to find a pylon when we do this video, or some fun video. But you know, if you do get caves, you can just do this. You know, low density area like that, you can fly through it, no problem. Yeah, it's always a fun build. God probably does. Gears of Dreadlands probably does just edge this out, but it is still pretty nice. Yeah, solid start. I'd probably put this as one of the stronger starts for next season. You know, Whirlwind's going to be up there. That's a pretty good set. I quite like Talrasha, but obviously UE, once you get the pieces, is pretty easy. So this is the boss. So yeah, Multishot. There we go. No problem. And obviously, if there's something around, we could kill it. We don't drop the squirts. You know, the boss gets melted a little bit quicker. So let's go back to town. We'll stick the bounty setup on, and then I'll kind of show you how that one works. I'm trying to debate. Do you guys want to see me actually do some bounties? Like, we could jump into a public game, no problem. But I tend to just run it on GR81, which is about the effective equivalent. So let's get rid of this stuff. Did we get any goodies? I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. No. Okay, now on the bounty spec up, the bounty blaster, what we're doing is we're obviously going to take the diamonds for the toughness, so they come in. We're going to take the wraps of clarity, so that whenever we fire off our generator, again, you can pick whatever generator you want. I've been swapping them around, so this one's got hungering arrow in, but it doesn't really matter. But this gives us a 50% damage reduction, or up to with a nice spell, which is good. We swapped onto focus and restraint, so we get 50% DPS when we hit with left click. We get 50% DPS when we hit with right click. Because we've got those modifiers, the powerful can easily come out, and we're basically going to put in the stricken just so we can put down a boss super fast. In terms of the skills, I don't think any of them have changed. And what we've basically done is we've gone and put Dawn in the cubes. We've dropped the Echoing Fury for this just to keep up the vengeance, just to make life a little easier. Visage of Goons will give us Dark Heart Rune, so 50% damage reduction when Vengeance is up. So obviously these two pair together pretty well. Now, again, it's the same thing. We're going to take the squirts. We're going to keep the Boon of the Hoarder in. If you do find you're struggling, by all means that can come out, but it shouldn't do. So we'll show you 81. Obviously we can't get any gold, so this will probably look harder than it is. Because if you're doing bounties, you know, you'd kill the stuff you'd be picking up. You'd be picking up gold as you go, and that would keep you, pretty topped up. But again, no main stat Paragon. We just need to remember not to click any pylons, because obviously that will give us a bit of a false sense of power. But obviously with Dawn, it is a lot easier to keep up the Vengeance. So again, you know, even the T16 one, if you're more comfortable with Dawn, if you find one, if you're lucky enough to find one early, you can use it. And you know, there's an argument that it's a bit smoother with it, but you know, we like mixing things up, so we do go for Echo and Fury. But yeah, always happy to hear suggestions if anyone's got any other bright ideas for what it is that should go in there. Then by all means, that is kind of good. Now at the moment, it looks like the shielding of the Gizzard is doing a pretty decent job of keeping up the squirts bonus anyway, just because you know, it's a fairly tanky set. You know, you've got your damage reduction from your Crimsons, which is pretty big. You've got your damage reduction in the set. The Wraps of Clarity offer another layer. You know, it's not too bad. You know, and then if the shield doesn't drop, then you know, you keep the squirt. So this would be kind of 4-player bounty. But yeah, I mean, we stand in a grotesque explosion, we will drop it. You know, that's how it is. Some people do like playing with gold wrap for bounties. I personally don't. I just think it gives you a bit of a false sense of security, and it's not going to do you any favors on bosses. And I don't really like swapping specs to go kill the boss, but obviously you can do. You know, that's something I do a bit sometimes. Particularly if a class is you know, like Necromage is one that I sometimes do that, just because it's much easier to not kill the boss with mages, because they are a bit squishy. So you know, gold wrap for that really does help. But yeah, Multishot. I haven't played this properly since the Triune season. I mean, we've played it on and off a little bit because obviously it is a good build, but it'd be interesting to see where it gets to on the leaderboards next season with the leaderboard changes and those kind of stuff. Right, so we've got the boss, and the Stricken will wrap up super fast. And yeah, that should be it. So any of the difficult bosses, you should be fine. You know, you're not overly squishy. And as we say, you can always take the squirts off if you want. But that is Multishot. That is how to do it. For keys, for bounties, you know, around the kind of 12, 13k-ish main stat. As I say, I can't get it lower. All the stuff, I'm afraid, is orged. Because, you know, we've got some nice pieces because it's off-season. That is the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're going to pick the Demon Hunters start, I hope you get the drops that you want. UE is a lot of fun. I'll see you soon for another video. Take it easy. Peace.